those sorts of things we should, we need to know. But Ken, to your point, all of that is absolutely valuable or valid. I just, I just want to know if we're barking up the wrong tree altogether here. Because if this thing only glowed for a couple hours and stuff, then is it worth, continuing?
Yeah, I think we really gotta all join up again and figure out what next steps we want to do. And Everplastic, I don't know that we should be giving them any more tests to do because at the end of the day, that's an obligation to them. I think if we're going to do it at all, we should have someone that we can work with that agrees that it is our process that we're going through, and they have nothing to do with it, and they will or will not be able to manufacture. It doesn't matter, but they'll be paid to do the testing and the building of the product for us. Period. Whether it's in Vancouver or China, I don't care where, but we've got to figure out if this is what we want to do.
I mean, I think we all have to agree. I don't know that retail market is there's going to be any appetite. Everybody, like you said, is excited about the product, but they just aren't going to spend any more than that $40 or $80 to hang on their wall and hope
but
they never use.
It could turn out that that's what it actually cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could turn out if we do this properly, it could turn out it only costs $20 to build one.
Yeah.
We don't know. We've got one person telling us what it costs to build, who has been doing it for the whole time, and we do not know if there's another product out there or something else that can be done. We just give the problem to somebody and say, "This is the problem. Can you help us figure out how to do it?" Without giving them any idea how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how things get invented.
What about the NDA with the people out there? It was
it is on hold. The NDA has been created. Tyler was helping me with that. But with the company in kind of flux, what's going to happen, who's going to own it, it hasn't moved forward. I have had a call with the Rotomolder out here, or the plastics company. They have the capacity. They do manufacture in Surrey, but they do offshore several elements of their manufacturing process. But that's as far as it's gone so far. I think this requires a strategy, and from an observational perspective, I think it's what we lack. I think we need to reset, but it really comes down to, or does it come down to, the viability of the company? Because in its current guise, the company is out of money in a month, and like what happens on July 31st? Because at the end of the day, that's a going concern, obviously.
Do you even want to sell the product that we have if it's going to fail?
Well, that's my thing, but the part about that I'm struggling with, Ken, and is that the ones on my boat, that's the part I can't get my head around. Is that I'm thrilled with, and all the people, I'm part of a co-op on our boat. Everybody loves them.
Yeah.
Now, but I have to be honest. I don't know how many people are up at 4 a.m. looking at the ring to see if it's still glowing. I mean, Bruce, you got one on your boat.
Yeah. The neighbors comment on it, but I haven't received any orders. Even the marina bought the original 5 or 6 or whatever, and they finished their renovation. They're going to put me another order, and I'll get back to. I haven't even put them back out again yet. So So I don't know what's.
The reality is, we've sold a bunch. It's not like we haven't sold any. And no one's come back to us saying, look, this doesn't glow for as long as it should, it doesn't do this. Right? We don't have anybody.
Not a complaint, right? Not one.
Not a complaint.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they glow all night, but it certainly means that it's glowing long enough to satisfy folks. The problem we have is we lack independent validation of the product. We can't go and say, well, it glows a lot. Bruce says it glows a lot. Carnival Cruise Lines.
Right.
We need independent lab to say, here's what it does.
Well, even if you look at Darren, Ray, they're about, what he buy, 30 of them or more, and they love them. Like, and they've got them on all their docks and boats, and so not like he even came back and did buy more. So that's why I do think we have a product. What I worry about though is the new formula, because that one I personally have not seen it glow. I literally got those and took them to Cabosa the next day. So, because I just assumed that they glowed exactly the same as the other ones. But,
So what do you guys want to do? What are we going to do?
Well, we got that product to sell, right? We got to
Yeah.
select that one way or another. Do we sell it to an individual as one bill, a Terry person, or do we go back to market again? Because we've got 1 month.
Yeah.
Let's start getting some cash flow going. That's my thought.
and
We probably
the
need to have a shareholders meeting here. I think. I mean, there's.
yeah, the challenge with some of the stuff that Scott's selling, which is great and stuff. I mean, all sales are good, but we're not selling the existing inventory as quickly, which is, like when we sell a dock bumper, we're getting our margin on that, but the stuff we have in inventory is long paid for, so it's full on dollars back into the bank account, right? So in an ideal world, if we could sell the 600 rings at $200 a piece, let's say, now we've just got runway that we need. So how do we do that?
Yeah, 30 days.
How much money in dollars do we have in rings? 100 grand.
Yeah, right now they're in our investment. So would we have 600 and something rings? You said
Yes.
At our cost.
and our
at our
cost
cost.
on that was $120.
120.
That's
Right.
$78,000.
Right, there's no repayment schedule on that, unfortunately, but that isn't our problem either, because you're right, as we sell them, we technically, but right now, as we sell them, all we're doing is paying new bills that we're getting
Yeah.
because we're not profitable,
Exactly.
right? So the inventory, if we didn't sell a single solar inventory and we shut her down today, we still got the inventory. It's
Right.
what's causing us every month. We're losing more money by trying to figure out what to do instead of just, I think we just got to do what we got to do. Because it's just we're just buying ourselves every time we sell them. It's not solving the problem.
Yeah,
Here's
we
the-
all came to aware that early spring so we gotta do something.
Yeah.
Here's a spitball thought. Why don't we give Terry a trial run here? Why don't we say, hey, we have 600 rings here. Why don't you get on your sales horse? And if you can sell these, then we'll consider maybe discussing, involving you in a partnership.
That's my point. If he was very entrepreneurial and really wanted to be in, he would have already sold some of those, But yeah, go ahead. I don't,
Do we have the time?
Well, I mean, our bleed rates, not that high, right? So it's so you sell $20,000 worth of rings, you just bought yourself a couple bucks, right? So
Yeah.
but we haven't repaid the ring.
No, I know, I know that where you're coming, Ken. Absolutely, that's not lost on us. I totally appreciate that.
I think we gotta get it. I mean, no, I love the idea of someone coming in and saying, "I'll tell you what, I'll buy all those rings off you."
Yeah.
I don't need to be a partner. I don't need nothing.
Yeah.
You just sell me all those rings at wholesale, and
Yeah.
that's my investment. So you put 100 grand in or whatever that is. That's all he has to do. Buy the rings, and he's in on his own little deal. Because if he could sell those, he's got something.
Mhm.
But he buys the inventory, not the shares.
Mhm.
right? Because there is no shares, no value in our shares. There is zero value in our shares.
Yeah.
The only thing that we have to sell is the rings.
Mhm.
So if Terry wants to buy all the rings off of us, great. Come on down and go at her, baby.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
We have bills coming down the track. We've got the other half of the UL payment. Camosa needs to be caught up. Ken
No,
obviously.
Commotion's paid.
Oh, Camosa's paid. Okay. So we've got UL. Ken, obviously the loan remains outstanding. Kelly, you're owed money. Lots of additional expenses. I'm not sure if those have been baked into the cash flow statement in terms of repayment. I don't see them here.
No,
No.
So for all intents and purposes, the company's already out of money.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, this is my point. I think if this Terry guy wants to come and meet us, hop on the next plane, get over here, come and bring a checkbook with him, because there is no way he's getting out of here in any way, shape, or form with us without writing a check. Much the same thing we did when we first started.
Yeah.
Sort of sight unseen. Here's our money. We believe in it. We think it's going to be a big deal. This is what we have. Turns out we didn't have. But yeah,
You think he has a stomach for it? Is Terry still keen for it?
I'm sorry, was that me?
Yeah, so you would see him personally. So do you think, is Terry still keen to be involved one way or another?
Oh, he's absolutely keen to be involved. Yes.
Okay.
I'm just
So
trying
I
to figure-
think it's definitely, let's not talk about our strategy here at this moment. Let's just get him out here and let's make a deal.
yeah.
We could bring Trump in, but
Yeah.
we could probably do it ourselves.
Scott, how confident are you in the new formula actually performing the way the other ones do?
It wasn't until this meeting.
If I was in your shoes, the first thing I'd be doing is testing those rings you got in your warehouse and get us some data. Because what I'm really worried about is I put personally in my own head, I should say, I'm banking a lot on this UL project because I know that I've got BC Ferries, C-SPAN, some other ferries, stuff all lined up, ready to go once we have that UL certification. My worry is it's not going to pass, and or it passes on the manufacturer part, but it doesn't glow. And if it doesn't glow as much as the ones that I've been sampling to BC Ferries and stuff like that, then it's all going to die on the vine, and then we're.
Well, I'm certainly not starting the UL process all over again either, but it's
Can this Kelly guy get here by next week?
Kelly who? Kelly Terry?
Terry.
Kelly
Terry.
I'm guessing yes. I can't speak for him, but
Okay, well, I mean, I think we should have no more discussion on this until
Yep,
that happens.
We've almost said too much. So I think.
Okay. So Scott, your undertaking is to see if you can't ask Terry to get out here for a meeting with the shareholders. Would that be up island, guys, in Nanaimo preferably, or
Yeah, I think so.
Nanaimo? Okay.
Bruce, are you moving yet?
Yep.
Oh, good for you. But no, we can certainly do it up that way. So.
As long as you don't have to wheel Bruce in and wheel Bruce out.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of babysitting him. I'm sick and tired of babysitting. That's all I know.
Yeah. I hear you.
Hang on.
I've already carried him for 35 years.
You should be used to it.
Scott, if you wanted to have a call with me and Terry to discuss what that could look like and stuff ahead of time, I'm happy to do that. So
I also think, to be fair to Terry, is I tell him about our new problem. so that he knows about it, because I got a feeling he doesn't know about it, you know, I mean, so that, you know, everyone's got on the up and up, like.
Absolutely.
Terry should know the same situation that we found out we're in,
Mhm.
right? Because those doesn't bring him out here and go, oh, I didn't know that, I didn't know that, so I think it's really important that he's brought up to speed and you know, why we're in the position we're in already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so we don't.
Well,
waste his time.
that's why that independent test, Scott, that you need to do with the new ring is, and compare it with the old one and that sort of stuff is really important, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, we need to be absolutely clear about the situation.
Well, I mean that stemmed from the time crunch that we ended up being under. That those rings came right out of that rotomolder. They met the weight, and then they were on a pallet down to fucking North Carolina, right? Like we were crunched.
Scott, that is not true. I was on a call with Hugo, asking him multiple times whether he had tested the globe. Right? That was one of the very first discussions we had with him on that call, on that weekly call. And I never got a straight answer as to whether he tested the globe.
But you know, here we go again. Had that process been documented properly the way we would have to do it in order to get any sort of funding, it would have been clear the process didn't happen the way it should have happened, right? I mean, because we wouldn't be here right now. It says that we have no protocol. We haven't insisted on a protocol from the manufacturer. We haven't insisted in a systematic way of doing what it is that we're contemplating doing, and that leads us into where we're at. That's where we will on the next one. We've learned a lot. This is what we want the manufacturer to do. This is exactly how they process it. We want to document it. We want a copy of the document, and that way, there's absolutely no way that we're hearsay. They said, because you look and say, yeah, I did it. Okay, great. Because why not say that if you're the guy making the product? He's going to get an order for 800.
Right. Okay. So what do we want to do? There's still some agenda items here. I'm not sure they're relevant now, given the urgency of setting a meeting up with Terry and having calls, that sort of thing. Is there appetite to go through the rest of the agenda, or do you just want to head to the in-camera meeting? And
a little redundant now, I think so.
Okay.
But if Scott could do some testing on, I agree. Yeah, just so we know what.
Okay.
How many 30s do you have, Scott?
I think I've 10-ish.